Hello and welcome to another VOD review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And finally, it is time to talk about Karthus, the Grim Reaper spam farming global ultimate nuke bomb. And you know that thread on Reddit about him having like an orbital bombardment skin? I like that idea. He should have it because the ult really does a lot of damage when you get going. Runes on your screen now, nothing surprising whatsoever. Instead of having, Genji Clid as our protagonist, we are instead against him, obviously, like a good pro jungler, stuck on the leash, playing Graves. Now, our Karthus, you will note, has, with his standard rune set, of course, that Ravenous Hunter and an exhaust button. The exhaust button will do great things against champions that get in your face. Camille, Graves, what have you. When you have those skirmishes, you can actually hold it yourself. Now, the clear is not particularly very interesting, as you well know. We've covered this before in previous videos on the main channel, and if you search Karthus clear, I'm pretty sure there's some Chinese server speed records and professional players, trying to get it as deep into the 2 minutes as possible. New season, obviously. Spamming EQ, kiting it, you do not need a leash. Now, what's most important about this, alright, is the following. As we go back in time, you don't need a leash. Graves, on the other hand, doesn't need a leash either, but there's nothing really that can full clear as fast as Karthus. Therefore, sneaks himself, a little bit of a leash, or at least some sort of fake leash. It doesn't really matter. If there is a lane coming late to lane, they could even be misleading. That's why. Alright, so in this case, it's pretty obviously started here. But in your games, if you are in that sort of diamond elo, trying to get master tier, you're master tier, even if you're against a smurf, this ward is most important. Because most of the time, you are going to get invaded by a Graves if you are a farming jungler and your path is predictable. In this case, you know you're going to start blue and sequence down. You could anticipate some sort of cheeky invade here, but the thing is, Nocturne mid, he has prio, and of course your bottom lane not having to leash can develop prio as well. So for Graves, this is inherently risky. This ward, all it does is protect against any sort of cheese you might encounter. It's all we want to know, because sometimes you might even get a Graves while you do your blue side, do his red solo, get a fake leash bottom lane, walled hop over, and then come and invade you at your Gromp and your Wolves. This has been seen on more than a few occasions. So, what is the game plan here? What are we talking about? A lot of it's going to be to do with jungle flow, to be with scaling, to understand the game state, to understand when to give things up. Really, understanding that you might not be the one to dictate the pace of the game because you are Karthus. Now, you can gank. Good ward here by the Jace. Right, we know he started bottom side here, he's going to loop on up. It's Graves. Will this do anything? Time will tell. But for Karthus, the main thing is getting your clear as fast as possible. Alright? He gets it down. Kind of slowly, actually. He should be able to do that faster. And Graves, as I said, ganks top lane anyway. It's pretty obvious he's going to sneak around the try. Nothing much you can do there as Jace. Except understand that he started bottom side and I understand the dynamic, right? But Karthus, on the other hand, will have to play around that in turn. Graves shows top lane, ganks my top lane. My top laner used his advantage early. What can I do? At this point, having opposite side crab control is the most important thing for a farming jungler and for a Karthus, alright? If you start top, and you go here, and Graves decides, you know what? I'm gonna match, and collapses on you here, you just reset. You can counter gank it, maybe, but most of the time you reset and you can go straight to this crab. And if mid is pushing or top is pushing, you will have the option to gank those. Yes, you can actually gank as Karthus, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. But you have to read the map. You have to understand that a lot of the time in high elos it's not going to be available to you. So far, standard stuff. We will usually have a quiet beginning. Alright, so he shows his presence on the mid lane, that's great. Here's the thing. The Graves showed top lane with 16 CS. 4 camps, and no red buff. That means, boom, 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 and his red buff is still up. It also means that the Jace is dead. When we caught him in mid-death animation, Karthus mains enjoy that. Karthus, on the other hand, knows that he's on red, and if he ganks top lane again, I might be able to sneak that red away. So by going mid lane, he thins the wave, pushes the Lissandra back a little bit. This is an aggressive play. And this is the whole point of the video I just released on the main channel. Too aggressive, without measurement, without consideration, you just feed. Too passive, without considering that either, and you probably go back to base and just head to your Grump. You're not thinking about the enemy jungler and adjusting your strategies. Here we go. Graves is here, so you're looking at it. He's pushing top lane. This is great for us as Karthus. It's an absolute free red buff. And a mid laner who was thinking about this and sees a Karthus go across would have maybe saved 2 available. Huh. Yeah, it'd be kind of useful, wouldn't it? So, laners, think about these things as well, please, because you have yourself a collapse, and he has no flash. So, yeah. Karthus says thank you very much, hits the plant for coverage as he disengages out of the enemy jungle, and now he's perfectly timed to go, and Graves is just pinging, Clid's going, okay, thanks mid laner, oh well. And now Karthus is perfectly primed to take his second tier Grom and second tier Wolves, and now you could implement a drastically extended sequence to really throw the Graves off. Within that calculation though, so after Wolves you can go back to base, so we'll have, you know, let's see exactly, 1400 gold. You can go back to base, and then you can look, knowing that the Graves is going to reset and head down to tier 2 camps here. Maybe even try and gank over here. Or look to solo the dragon, or gank mid lane, depending on your game state, obviously. You can go back to base, and now, those are up, this is up, and you're primed simply to counter gank, to be present, to force a fight, because you do have lane prio. However, if the goal is maximal experience gain, and yes, that's the correct word. Well, I mean, you can use maximum, but maximal is an adjective only versus maximum, which is also a noun, but this is an English class. This is math class because we're junglers and we're stacking our experience gains. This will give him 6, okay? And the benefit of doing this is even though your base 1 ult is only 200 damage, if someone gets really super low, we can have a look here. Now, but if someone's like under 200 HP, your free stack, free ult, and you can use it before even itemization spike, which is kind of neat, you know? I like that. So it rewards global awareness. We're about that. As you saw, Graves was doing both these camps. At this point, all right, because you have not shown, and because mid lane is floating up to the top side, which they would have seen through the wards that are now placed, Clid and Graves can say, TY for dragon. Karthus, on the other hand, says, I don't care. Normally as Karthus, as you saw in the farming junglers video, you can very easily... What a nice guy. Thank you. You removed a shield with a sphere. Everyone, if you see this guy in your high elo career, gift him a skin, please. Very nice. Good dude. So while he's on this, you're not too concerned about it as a farming jungler. And yes, you saw the nature of the game where the Karthus sequenced. Alright, nothing. Counter gank. Dragon. Sequence, gank top, herald. You know, he had control, but that's because the enemy jungler was making the wrong plays. Against a high elo jungler, you're not going to. So here, the thing is, instead of worrying about your camps, which we're going to spawn in due course, because you farm them so quickly already at 6 minutes, because you farm them so quickly, you have a lot of dead time. And this was the problem in Season 9. Laners hated this, because junglers had 2 minutes 30 before the camps would spawn. We'd farm it, you know, like 2 camps, go sit in top lane for 3 minutes, and if we got nothing, we go back to base, and then those bottom side camps have catch-up experience that just boost you artificially. So I do believe there's a world between this and that would be best, because currently it's kind of boring in pro play and high elo. But nonetheless, Karthus has time, goes up top lane, scans, you know, always dive as Karthus, you got Ravenous Hunter, you know Graves is on the dragon, things on the map for you as well. What do we just say? What do we say all the time? If they take something, what can I react to? Don't say it's my grump. Counter jungle, get some wards. Here we go. All right, this is all good. You know, you're not getting a camp. You deny vision, slap yourself some 30 gold, which is an investment back into your control wards. Graves, once he sees this, there you go. It's expected. But you're up 3 camps and, you know, 2 wards. So you have an experience lead. But this will happen. And there's a... That's unlucky. Very unlucky, but it's close. Okay? I don't... diving a Shen. It's like diving a Zyra. I love it when people dive me a Zyra when I'm 5 or 6. It's beautiful. So they're fighting. You've got a huge chunk on them now, which is also good. You get Dark Harvest stacks, and now you know you've got peace of mind. Graves is going to go up to his blue buff. None of your camps were up, which means they couldn't counter jungle you. And that's huge. Couldn't counter jungle you. It has an L in the word. Yeah. That's so big. That's so big. Being able to farm so quickly, here we go. Okay, before, I'll finish up one in a second. So Nocturne gets caught up because, you know, he does. Karthus goes and hits buttons and he dies. And look at this. He took no... It's insane. Like, how easy is it? He just farms, and he farms so quickly that not only can he not be counter-jungled, but he can also rotate without any concerns. Push the mid lane. Take your Raptors. There we go. Take our red buff. 2 levels up. 2 levels up. And now you know Graves is 100% on the bottom side, right? So Graves now has 2 options to him. Let me go top lane, take these camps. How about top lane? Maybe help out mid. But I know it's control warded here. I know it's control warded there. I know the Jace is moving. Don't think he knows this ward exists from the Jace. But you could suspect it if the Jace leaves lane. And you should know this as a jungler. Look at the map, see what laners are moving. Or instead of going to the top side, because of those wards, you can go down to the bottom side. You can sequence Wolf's Grump into a bottom lane gank again. But you're going to handcuff yourself to a lot of low experience gains. And you're going to put yourself in a situation where the Karthus will now be going top again. Will have the call onto the Rift Herald. You know, you don't really want to do it. So you probably want to come out of base and sequence up, because that means you get a full clear, rather. And the Karthus, after resetting, will be in the same area. So if you beat him 1v1, you can actually afford to do that. Now, obviously, the Karthus already used his exhaust in the previous fight. You'll see now, Graves is doing exactly that. There we go. Gotta catch up, gets his smite. This is a good ward. We didn't even talk about this. Missed completely. We fast forwarded and I'm looking at the webcam, so I'm not always seeing it, but yeah, that's a good ward as well. Next time you walk through it, make sure you kill them. Happens to the best of us, though. Graves is shown going straight for the Scuttle Crab. Now, what happens in a lot of people's minds here, like in the Sishwani and the video on my main channel, I had nightmares about that, walks into the river, dies. Because no lane prior on the lane is 3v1 collapse. However, in this case, alright, we can handle ourselves. We're going early Soak Boots, great for penetration, helps you farm quickly, helps you farm quicker, because the camps have magic resistance now. And obviously, as you saw in the thumbnail, we're going Leandries. The percentage damage burn from that plus demonic is nuts. However, against things like a Graves, Velios, Lissandra, Camille, that Zhonya's will come in pretty huge. So, up we go. Hello? Hello? Okay, nothing. Now, you're going to say, whoa, it's a lot of damage. And I'm going to say, yeah, because most of you don't realize that 15% magic is shredded for 5 seconds every time the wall hits. So, the wall isn't just a disturbingly scaling slow from 40 to 80%. It also removes magic resistance, percentage-wise, combined with your 8 flat. Percentage and then flat. So it gives a huge amount of value to Void and to the Pen Boots as well, especially early. Now he knows he has lane prior. Let me go investigating. Finally, a straight-up gank. They're fighting. The Lissandra hasn't noticed. Our wall is up. Let's throw it. Graves comes over the wall on the top side. We hit our Qs. We get the fear through. Karthus just smacks down long-range Qs. The Shen ult comes through. Alistar had a great roam. And now we're going to try and get out of the situation. You have to be careful. Okay, because Graves, Q, there we go. But you do have Ravenous Hunter, and now you want to push this. Sorry, Nocturne died. Just take this experience. But you have to be careful. A lot of times, junglers and supports will overcommit. It's a 2v2 lane, but they have resource advantage, and they get surprised. But I think they're fine here because it's a Karthus. Right. Now, a little bit of waffling. Where is he going? Where do you want to go? Okay, let's go. Now, we've been shifting. We've been going top camps down. Now we're going to do Wolves into Grump, because we're probably going to look for that Rift Herald play. There should be plants in the river as well. And you get healing and mana back from the Grump. You can also reset. But I think here, because you managed to get a 1-for-1 on the bottom lane, and you can avoid vision, it's a little tight. It's a little tight. You want to match the top wave, and I kind of spoiled it, but Graves is there as well, because we saw the Graves do this. Walk into the river, go mid lane. You know he's going to go and finish off that last camp, and the objective on the map is the Herald, so the Karthus is anticipating some kind of action from the Graves, and wants to be primed to counter gank it. Scan on your approach. Nocturne has ultimate. Here we go. W. Nocturne ult. Q, Q, Q. And an auto attack. Great read. If I'm gonna be honest, and we can dive as Karthus. This is so creepy though. Because his Q has much further range than you think. Look at it. He's just gonna... Oh, he's dead. Doesn't he... I mean... Wow. Good champion. There is some Q buffering issues, I believe. I'm not sure if that's been fixed, but doesn't really stop him from dominating. Presence of Mind comes through, gives him some more mana. Now you have ultimate, and as soon as this happens, always look around, because you never know if there's been fights while you've been fighting, and that gives you a lot back. Also, just remember on the Q, more damage to ISO targets. It's not, you know, it's almost like a Kha'Zix's mage equivalency, sort of. Not as much, but if it only hits one enemy, double damage, basically. So, group together a bit more. Don't everyone always spreads out from the Karthus Qs, and it does more damage to ISO target instead of everyone just sitting in the zone and just burning him down. You get this free. Your bottom lane reset. Graves is gonna respawn from his death and go straight to this. I don't anticipate anything else. There you go. We're trading an objective from an objective as a farming jungler. No problem with that. Pick the crab. Shen is protecting your blue side jungle, and Karthus now says, right, I know straight up that they did it. I've got vision of Graves' bottom side. I have my ult if I need to be on bottom lane as well. And that's where this champion becomes very powerful. We have a lot of gold though. We have Leandri's finished, yeah, plus some other components. But we are approaching 40 minutes and we've got 2 plates on the top side. It's almost perfect. TB happens to come through from the Lysandra. Don't know why. I was speeding through that. Why would you? This is woefully aggressive. You know he just did this, right? And there's no wards here, so this is just a tragic decision. I mean, Jace almost does it himself anyway. And now you're by yourself, and the Q has a big radius. Does he need R? See, if you had Leandri's, you'd have it, but there's been no time to go back. Is he gonna do it? He's gonna save it. Yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna need it now. You probably have a better play now, and you don't need to use this anymore. If Graves had showed up or something like that, Graves is bottom lane, I mean, you can solo this without the Herald, so he holds onto it, goes back to base. Okay. The holding of the ultimate... The holding of the ultimate is something you have to make in your decision. Oh, here we go. Poke damage, as well as poke damage. Alright. I don't know. I think you could have used it. You could have had the same impact and gotten yourself a kill. But Jace gets the kill. It's not a problem. Right. We have our Herald. The plates are going away in 40 seconds. Nocturne goes and makes a play because, again, mid lane is a bit tragic, but... Yeah, not much you can do there. Use your Herald, though, please. You should just push this and use it. There you go. You've only got a few seconds left. I mean, as a 3-man, you can get all the plates. There you go. And now remember, what this does is, this, I mean, he's 5-0-1. The Nocturne's done a good job, but he's not carrying. The Jace has done a good job. Huge CS lead. But it's really on the Karthus here with the most kills and the objective focus. The fact that he's going to outscale everyone. Be very careful they don't overcommit. Good wards, thank you very much. And that's why I like these videos as well. It's not just for you junglers, alright? It's for supports, mid laners, top laners. You tell me that your lane has no impact and it's all jungle diff. What's stopping you from just winning your lane, and when you do have prio, getting some deep vision, setting traps, and what's stopping you from the support roaming and using your ultimate spells? Karthus will be there, 83 seconds in the ult. You should rotate here in your low elo games because purely your team won't reset and have item spikes that are really useful. They will overstay with 3-4k in their pocket and you'll think, we have a 7k gold lead. Swish! But they haven't actually spent any of that gold, so effectively it's 22 apiece. They'll take this fight and they will die and you go, guys, why are you throwing? You should rotate. Always advise in low elo, just in case, get there, use your lead, which you've actually spent. In high elo, it doesn't make as much of a difference. He actually did. I mean, he started the Raptors. Here we go. Good. And then high elo, it makes a difference as well, apparently. Careful, though. Okay. Okay. 7-0-1. Crab is up. So yeah, good practice to rotate anyway. I guess is the moral of the story. Maybe I was giving our high elo brethren and you know, the sisterhood a little bit too much credit there for taking a good fight with the right items. So, always rotate. Right. We get to this point a lot, sequencing upwards. We always get to this point in games and coaching and analysis where all the outer towers are gone, or 2 are gone, and mid lane holds. It's an issue. No one takes it, they just chill on it, and if they scale 2, it's rough. So we need to break the game open. All is good, we should have a nice win, 7k gold lead, but you still have to close, and you have to anticipate that someone on your team, or 2 or 3 people, are gonna end. As I said, Jace has got pressure in the bottom lane, and a lot of times we have winning top laners, we don't use it. We all notice when our top lane ints and it makes our lives difficult, but we don't use winning top laners as much as we should. Therefore, when our Nocturne mid ints, farm your camps on the way to mid lane, join in with your top laner, and collapse. Why? There was a dude bottom lane. You have numbers advantage, you have this items advantage, and you have ult. Good night. And even if, say, you didn't have a free kill there, there's a dragon spawning, and as I said, you gave away 2 for pressure on the map, for farming and experience advantage, which you still have, and for Herald. But this third one is crucial, which means even if you have a fight over this dragon, you shouldn't save your ultimate for the end. Use it at the beginning, because it creates so much poke damage and threat that usually teams that are in the know will back away and not be able to actually fight, because you have the experience, the HP advantage, as you see here. You got the kill on the other stuff, but they have the HP advantage because of the Karthus ult. Now they can chase him down, and that's an absolutely free dragon. And this is all created by the Karthus. Great for flex, great for clash as well, guys. But you need to optimize your clear. His clear wasn't even the best. You know, there's some really smooth Karthus players, like Malice and so on, and other people in Korea that are really good. So go watch their clears, make sure you optimize your practice in the practice tool. Again though, look what stands, and this is the problem. While this stands, it's always going to be an issue, and you cannot close the game up properly, because you'll have a split push and a split push, but you've given them a tent defense, alright? Like a tent defense, a roof defense, where they can still maintain control of their jungle, and collapse on side lanes with the protection of a turret. And sometimes all they need is 1 or 2 plays, and that gives them huge objective swings and gold swings. Again, Nocturne is dead, I told you. Someone's going to end. And this is the point of opening the map. At least the rest of your team rotates, and you can handle yourself. Here we go, here we go. 4v3, be very careful. This is what I mean. You can handle yourself, but don't overstay this. As soon as you see their whole team collapse, you know you've got pressure bot lane. I don't think you should stick around and fight this. You got rooted, now you've got a stopwatch. Or Zonya's rather. Didn't have stopwatch in the runes. Wait. Karthus things. Karthus things. He missed it. He missed it, but he has some. He missed a few Qs. Unfortunate. So, here what you can do is bait out the fight, but try not to die because you have bottom pressure. And you force a TP out, so... I think the concept was right, but fighting it was a bit greedy. Overall, though, not bad. We can regroup. Wait, do they get it even? Oh, they do get it. There we go. And Shen dies as well. No reason. Jace is floating. Karthus is up again. Alright. Typical solo queue things. Yo, protagonist. Alright, cool. Next dragon should be spawning in due course. We've got the Baron up. So what you can do here is Karthus, and what people don't realize, and this is the problem that I was speaking to in some of coaching recently. They're trying to force this mid lane tower down, but our Karthus he has to farm to maintain the huge experience lead, which he's lost a bit of ground on, right? Because of the mid lane tower. The bottom lane goes straight in for it. Sorry, not bottom lane, but 2 people go straight in for it because Shen's dead, and it's a Lysandra. wait. All right, worth. And the Karthus all comes through. Doesn't really do that much damage yet, but yeah. You see how the game can really swing? I mean, it's not closing that much, but wait now. Wait, guys. Blue team, wait. Relax. Play the vision. Wait for Nocturne. Use your lead. Get a Baron. Should be easy. There you go. Nice zoning by the Shen. And Karthus can W over the wall, which gives Shred. Forces out the Alistar ultimate. If you walk back, you're dead, dude. Okay, he's dead. Graves actually snuck a kill as well. It's gonna be down to a smite fight. Woo! Actually, Kalista fight, because both junglers... Actually, let's wait. Klid has his up, so does the Karthus. Do they sync up with the Kalista? When does he use his? Okay, so Klid didn't even get his off. He used it with the Kalista. Very well done. Well done. And higher smite, and then the Kalista gets the chug. And now they're in the pit and they should die. You're low mana though. Zhonya's? We just need one killer assist to get presence of mind. Alright. Close, but well played. They activated the Herald as a counterplay. The Shen Nocturne ult. It's a classic. Absolute classic play. Maybe it died for a reason. It died for a reason. So your team ints away. Good Baron, guys. Good Baron. Good Baron. Oh yeah, you guys. You always say get low elo games. I mean, what's different about this? They just have good mechanics. They make the same decisions. Right. Reset. See if we can go get a dragon. But I anticipate the game should be coming to a close because Karthus is just astronomically ahead. You got the anti-heal. You've got the blighting jewel for percentage damage again. Don't face check here too many times. People just walk into blind bushes and die. Don't do that, please. If you get this dragon and you get a good push, you should be able to win easily. There you go. Wall for checking because it gives vision. Standard stuff. Poke around with your Q if you can. Don't get engaged on though. Careful. We don't have flash, you see, okay. The E threat. If you go on to me, Lysandra, I'm gonna space you with my space aids, I guess. Nocturne's floating, brings the darkness like Destiny 2. Or the Taken King, should I say. Wall goes through. And apparently Karthus' damage is great. And ult to finish. That's why, when people tell me, my team ints, my team, and I say, but have you heard the good word of Karthus jungle? Not only can you be everywhere, but you can get so far ahead that you can actually solo can. If you go the Leandri's demonic Zhonya's build with a Void Staff, Death Cap if you really are rich, or even a Banshee Spell Morello's, you're looking at huge amounts of damage. Look at this, 4,000 bonus damages, and your ult now does 600 damage, regardless of distance. And that should be more than enough for a high elo game and even a diamond game to close out. So I don't think anything else is going to develop that's really interesting. I hope you understand the concept here of jungle flow, when to give things up, when to contest, when to read where the jungle is going to go. And even if it doesn't feel like you have tempo, like the Graves early on, we still made the calculation of what can I take away from him because of his decision. Because when someone decides to go for a tempo play, for a ganking play to get on the map first, there's always something available. You just have to find it. And when you don't, you feel like you're behind and you start to default to passive playstyles. And measured, it's not even aggression, measured plays, because of smart recognition, really enable this for you. And they surrender, so... Thank you very much for watching. Best of luck in your Karthus clears and your farming jungle endeavors. Don't forget to like, share, and comment if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to this channel and the second channel, which is apparently what people think, if you find them both worthy. And as always, I will see you all in the next